It's really hard to define what human factors means different things to different people. But when I first started in medicine, I was made to feel that if only I was quicker, cleverer, better trained, more skillful, that bad things wouldn't happen. And I've learned, through bitter experience that that's not true. And so my current take on human factors really is how to reduce the risk of ballsing it up at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're knackered, working with people you don't know, people you don't like necessarily. And the way to do that is really through looking at human factors through a series of systems, processes, procedures, and then communication and team working. And communication and team working and human abilities is key. And it's really hard for us. Everyone thinks they're a good communicator, but there are definitely things about communication that we do well and some things that we do badly about communication. And talking about the tools we use for communication, which is things like SBAR, PACE, closed loop communication, these things are vital, but I'm not really going to talk about those at the moment. I wanted to talk a little bit about feedback and a little bit about how I've implemented human factors on a day-to-day basis using communication tools on my own unit. So feedback can be very mysterious, very complicated, but really it's not. It's really what, so what, and what next. And the way to have those conversations, there's lots of resources out there onto the internet, but I would really encourage you to look at Shari Healy's website about how to tell someone they smell. It's really interesting how to give feedback like that. It can be done in a non-confrontational what, so what next way. So having talked a little bit about that, in my own department we use real-time debriefing and learning conversations after every event that happens on the NICU. So we, every time we do something, it might be a delivery, it might be an intubation or an extubation, the minute it's over, the minute it's safe, in the nursery with parents there, it doesn't matter who's there, the team that was originally involved get their heads together, and the most senior person there, which is usually one of the doctors or nurses, will say, if that situation were to happen again right now, what would you do differently? And we ask each other, what would we do the same if that situation was going to happen right now? And we also talk about what snags or pitfalls in the environment were there that made that harder for you. And human factors team, which is myself, a senior nurse, a nurse practitioner, and another doctor on the neonatal unit, what we then do is we collate all this information and make the system safer on a day-to-day basis. And it's led to lots of development projects in our units. And it's also led to a 30% reduction in our serious DATEX near-miss incidents for babies. So what we've done by having these learning conversations day in, day out, you don't have to go on a course to do them, you don't have to be a trained debriefer. What you have to do is use the daily meat as sort of bread and butter of our work, because there's plenty of snags and pitfalls that we can sort out. There's plenty of issues that we can resolve every day. And with the human factors team act as a conduit for collecting that information and for ironing out those problems. We're a bucket into which you throw the snags of your working life. And it's our responsibility to fix those snags. And really, I suppose that's what human factors is to me. It's led to a culture change in our organisation where everyone feels they have a voice. You have senior nurses and doctors and junior nurses, doctors and other members of the healthcare team coming to you and tell you things that they know are wrong with the environment in which we work, and we're able now to solve them. We have a mechanism for solving them, which we never had before. And I think it has changed our culture, and I think it has made our department safer.